High five. It's Jessica Fiveash here in Utah, and today is Tuesday, June 22nd, 2021. The Utah Education Association spends many of its training sessions and leadership academy sessions to go over diversity and inclusion and how to teach through a critical race theory lens. And I think it's time that parents start to understand what is happening, what is critical race theory, and why are we saying that our kids, and for maybe the leaders that don't understand, why are the parents saying this is being pushed to their kids and what it is that they don't want. So are we ignorant, or are we actually just enforcing something that a lot of parents don't want? So I, as a UEA, Utah Education Association leader and member, I would attend a lot of trainings, and most of them were about diversity and inclusion, social justice, and now critical race theory. And there's a woman here in Utah. She used to work with Davis School District. Her name is Dr. Jackie Thompson, and I actually have a book that I received. She came and spoke with the leadership of the Utah Education Association when I was still teaching, and I think it was around 2017, and it was just a workbook to go and do activities on how to bring up trauma and skin color and religion and all of these things to discuss with your kids. And a lot of the trainings, and I have video, it's easy to show, a lot of the trainings show teachers how to discuss these things in their classrooms. When I don't understand why the focus is on this at all. Why aren't they pounding the pavement to teach kids, teach teachers while they're doing all these trainings that teachers get relicensure points for? Why aren't we using that time to equip the teachers instead of with what we're doing, but with how to teach and show the greatness of the people that helped work to get us where we are today? But they also don't think we are great today. And I think we need to shake the rug and redo a few things here. And this is not just in education, that just happens to be my area. But in all areas, I see affidavits going out to try and have Governor Spencer Cox step down. I see them going to state school board members, local school board members. Teachers are coming out that are still in the classroom, and they're having to go undercover because they know. Basically, there's a club, and if you speak against those club rules and those club narratives, then you're going to get blacklisted. And I think it's wise that these people are undercover for now. And I saw that there's another state coming out. People are blowing the whistle on what's going on. Our kids, this is an attack on our kids. This is an attack on our nation. If I wanted to destroy a nation from within, I would start at the lowest age and indoctrinate them in this institute we actually have called public ed. And the biggest voice here in Utah for our kids' education from the top down would be the teachers union, UEA. And they work hand in hand with the Democrat Party members that used to be teachers, and they moved up the ranks. And, I spoke at an education committee hearing last week. It was just a public comment about CRT, critical race theory. Someone I used to work with that's on staff as a paid lobbyist for UEA. I worked with him in the Democrat Party and with UEA, and he confronted me after I spoke and said, we don't do those things. UEA doesn't do that and send those things into the classroom. And I pulled out my material that I actually have from being given those things, I said, but you do. And he immediately regrouped and asked me to turn in all of my materials, physical or electronic, that I'd been given in certain state positions within the DIM party and UEA. And that's fine. But we need to understand that there's no balance of power here. UEA has, and there's affiliates to them. There was a panel last week that was put on by Better Utah, and NAACP, ACLU, and then Dr. Jackie Thompson. She's the former Davis School District person, and she's the one that was leading the critical race theory materials through the union. But they spoke, and they spelled it out. You can go to Better Alliance page and go to their events on Facebook and watch. It was the last video they did. It was on June 17th, and it just says critical race theory panel. And it's really informative if you want to see what they're pushing. This just isn't the direction that we need to go, and we need to sound the alarm that our kids are going to continue to be focused on their identity or their race or their upbringing. It's just, why aren't we looking at the bigger picture and saying everyone who made history or who made the United States what it was and what it is, every one of those had certain qualities or had to stand up against something. What kind of systems were they fighting? Funny enough, that's what we're doing right now. Just me saying something on this podcast about it, we're trying to move the needle just like those greats did. Why aren't we talking about that? We're trying to make our students greater, then stop focusing on the problems. And why, by the way, if we want to complain and talk all day long about how the books aren't inclusive and why aren't Black people in history books? Well, why aren't the books rewritten? It blows my mind. I don't understand why we complain about this for however many decades now, at least 1.5, just over and over complaining. Let's see it rewritten. Show me the books. Who's writing the books? Turn your attention from complaining to going to find these authors and these experts. Get them together and get the books in my students' hands. Stop telling people that if they're white, they have privilege. You don't know me. You don't know my story. Just like I don't know you. Where can we start? Stop dividing and bring this together. You guys don't understand. When they have the kids, they have everybody. Because we need our kids to be strong-minded, not weak-minded victims who don't think that they have anything that they can do for themselves, but they're always blaming someone else for their predicament, when it's about personal responsibility and strong character. And I'm hoping and praying that from this point on, we've got enough momentum to try and move this needle, because this is dangerous territory we're in right now, where my 17-year-old comes in and truly believes it's because of her white privilege that she wasn't traumatized by this or that. But yet she's got her own issues. It's not because of our skin color, though. It's a person thing. But she doesn't dwell on feeling sorry for being white like we're supposed to, I guess. It doesn't matter if we say we're not racist. You're going to assume I am. You don't know me. Why can't we work together and make a solution here, and so that everybody wins? Why would we want our kids to stay in this system that's continuing to push these things down our throat through their members or through just other teachers who are already indoctrinated into this? Parents are pulling their kids. So the fiscal year for education to receive their federal money starts October 1st. So if you want to learn about that, if you're considering pulling your kids from public education, because that would mean the state doesn't get, or the education system doesn't get that money for your child that year, the deadline is the end of September. And if your child is on their roster on October 1st, like at the end of business the day before, then they're going to get the money for your child. So a lot of parents are pulling their kids or just trying to figure out if they want to. That would be your deadline. And where money is involved, maybe this is going to get their attention. Contact your governor, state school board, district school board, superintendent, teacher. Contact anybody you can and let them know how you feel about this and what sort of thing you would like to see happening in the classrooms. And I think if we offer a solution, like what do we want? What would help me not take my kids out of this school? I think we can move from there, but the division needs to stop, and we need to move forward for our kids. And what I see is that the union's not for kids; they're for themselves, and it goes bigger than them because they're funded through a lady in California, or it's all created from this lady Hammond in California under Newsom. She's also over the Global Initiative, so she's funded by Soros. She's broken down all of these organizations, or she's created and under her is broken down all these different organizations and associations pushing for cultural Marxism in the classroom. And if people don't know history yet, they are going to have to learn it, or they're going to be on some part of it, because if you call yourself a freedom fighter, this would be time to get in the fight on education. This is real. This indoctrination is happening. If it's in Utah, it's everywhere. It's more in buildings that are heavily unionized. There are some, for sure, there are some Utah school buildings that are 100% Utah Education Association membership. I was the representative for Ogden and Weber districts at UEA at the state level over membershiping and organizing. And so we had to track the numbers in each school, and the goal was to get 100%. I mean, you got a star on the wall if you got this or that. Like, it's about making the members feel good, important, empowered. But what it's doing is attacking our students. They don't know what they don't know. And I don't think that the people working in UEA and the unions honestly know what the agenda is behind what's going on. But the words that are used in these trainings and in the classrooms make you feel good. But what they don't make you is stronger and a better person. We need some sort of option here. I don't know. What's the answer? I think we've got to find a plan to work together, because the balance of powers is not happening. Parents, you need to get your voice out there and talk to your congresspeople, your state senators and House representatives, and you need to do it fast. Let them know how you feel, and do you want your child spending time in class discussing trauma? Teachers are given trauma-informed lessons all the time for themselves and for them to use in the classroom. Do you want your kids in there discussing their trauma and feeling okay because everyone's had trauma, and discussing their race and how the white skin plays against the black skin over history? Or do you want things to be discussed and teachers to be trained to bring out the greatness in your child and overcome anything that they might have had that could hold them back? Give them the tools that they need instead of reminding them that their people were victimized. People will always be victimized if they're not in the elite. It doesn't matter what you look like. How did those who made history overcome the powers of the elite? And that's where we're at. It's a globalist agenda run by the elite and shoved down our throats. So either our legislature and state school board can work with us, or I know a lot of parents that are pulling their kids, and I know the state doesn't want to lose that public ed money. So let's figure it out. How do we work together? Okay, here's an event. It's an outdoor movie night in Utah, in Lehi, this Saturday. It says Patriots, let's continue to spread the word on this next great event by UtahPatriots.com. We'll have educators speaking on critical race theory and voter fraud and other subjects and how we are taking our state back. Bring your picnic baskets and ready for fun and a movie night. We will have a concession stand as well. There will be a place to donate for a friend and true patriot, Joe, that is battling cancer. Don't forget him in your prayers as well. Well, I'm going to be there with a few other people, and we'll have tables up on different things. And also great speakers. Phil Lyman, he's a state representative here, and music. So it starts at 7. The movie starts at sundown. It's at South Pioneer Crossing on Center 7431 North, 8000 West, Lehigh. So I hope to see you there. It says RSVP via email for a head count at utahpatriots@gmail.com. So yeah, stop by the education booth and say hi and get a lot of information about what you can do to change this direction that we're seeing our state and country headed.